I want to thank, okay, let's go. I want to thank Torah Anytime. There's of Yafi. Now, in the Vardik, you monitored yourself. I'm mentioning this. Halavai. We can get this moving. I do sometimes this type of stuff. This what you could do with your life. What a beautiful life. You're in touch with yourself. You know what makes you tick. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my own experiences. When I get sick, I pull myself out of it all the time. Come out like it's a joke. No matter what, I'm not impressed. I know myself. There's somebody in the hospital right now. The parents are calling me up. And I say it's a bluff. This child suddenly conked out. A boy suddenly can't move, can't talk. I checked out the situations at home. Whatever, there's something not so simple over there. And I figured it all out. Oh, there's Kidda, the older brother, the younger brother, so that's why he's sick. You know, and when you address the problem, suddenly he's not sick anymore. You get to the core of the problem. You don't chop how everything going on in your life has a reason, and there's a deeper. It's a guy's looking for covet since he was born. He used to fight with his sister 24. He gets married, he can't stand his wife. When the guy called me up, he says, I get along with everybody. If not for my wife, I'd be a happy person. And then I hopped the shoes. Tell me about yourself. Sure enough, when he was a kid, he hated his sister. Sinus mothers. As soon as he got engaged, the sin and poka from the old sister. Oh, best friend, we get along great. My wife is the problem. Now, you don't chop, my friend. You have an ongoing sinner inside you that comes out in different settings. Like, now, was this okay? You finished with that in a second? Here comes someone else. It's got to be the wife. And as soon as you're going to learn to make up with your wife, might take a while, suddenly at work, I can't handle this guy. I can't work together with him. He's this, that. In Avardi, they got you from day one. You have an issue with kas, kina, redifas hakovid, pochus mechaverei. They call it in Avardi. It's a term used by, I believe, the Masil Shishonim. Pochus mechaverei. Oh, you got a pochus mechaverei. Oh, he has a pochus mechaverei. Oh, he's got a pochus mechaverei. Who's used? There are people that suffer their whole lives because there's a pachas mechaverei in their life. There's somebody who's zoom to be the same family. I know somebody in certain families, one member getting deathly ill. I did my research. The whole family's outgoing. Everyone's happy, except for that member. Oh, but he's very successful. He's good at learning, and he's a this, and he's that. He has friends. Yeah, but he can't open his mouth in public. Is that true? And all his brothers don't know how to stop talking. That's why he's sick. You trace it, and you deal with it. I have plenty of people who have conquered fears. I get phone calls from Eretz Yisrael of pathetic introverts. They're all over the place. Yishalmis can't open their mouths. What's happened to you? I'm only getting to their ikvus and the Mashiach. You know, what happened to people? There's a lot of that stuff, quiet people. And I train them. It takes a while. And these people can turn around. They become just like me. I'm the official. I'm Gedreit the cup. Now I can't stop talking. Now I got the opposite issue. L'chaim! I can't stop drinking either. That's my real issue. Don't tell anybody. You know what he did in class today? I walked into class. I'm tough. After Pesach, I'm very tough. I'm tough of it. What's I watch? Oh, you think Rebbe doesn't see? You know, the kids, they want to schmooze. You think Rebbe doesn't see? You don't shop that Rebbe has eyes all over the place. I have eyes in the back of my head. You know that? And the 9-year-olds are looking at me. Rebbe says, there was a kid that I once taught years ago that his tutor told me, it was years later, he needed a tutor, needed a special, whatever. He said he could swear, he's sure, Rabbi Mendel, either have Ruach HaKodesh or have eyes in the back of the head, I told him when I walked outside, you're davening, I'm watching you through the walls. Think I don't see? I see everything. You know what I used to do? I used to have a mic. I used to walk around with a mic in the hallway. I knew exactly who went out of a seat the second I walked out. And I was like all the way down the hall. Okay, Chaim Goldberg, get back into your seat. Yes. You think Rebbe doesn't see? I knew, because I know my chevra. I know this guy. As soon as and they're in awe. The child that Abatak has Ruach HaKodesh. Do you know how many people I have told? I have Ruach HaKodesh. I'm very convincing. I take full advantage of Mr. Tough Guy. I have Ruach HaKodesh. You're fine. I told you once, he sat right here. He is sick since the day he's born. He's 25. He's a basket guy. He says, that was a misdiagnosis. I know. And I say it with a schmaltz. I don't just, well, maybe, no. And I have Ruach HaKodesh. The guy was cured. I have a lot. I just was on the phone just now. This fellow, I gave him treatment. He's a major marbitz, Torah, tzaddik. His Talmidim love him on a high level. He's a real tzaddik. But when it comes to the sugyas of bטחון and kavod, they don't teach it. Where not in Shas, they don't pick it up. In halacha, they don't pick it up. Even in Musa, they don't know. I had an Novandiga training. The guy was on my phone 5-6 times. A riesiger chashuva person. And I hacked him a cup. Stop this. Aber ich bin gut nicht, I'm nothing. I'm one of those. He speaks only Yiddish. He's a elach from the old. He's a tzaddik yisaydelim. Forget it. But in these sugyas, he's nowhere. Like he just doesn't chop. Bטחון, relax. He's not in that. But wow. Oh, but I'm not Roy. The from Yetzirah. Roy, you're not Roy. Yeah, but my father was much better. These guys are in a knocking mode. They hold it a mitzvah. I'm not like my father. You never saw my father. Yeah, I know myself. Rabbi say, when I was sick, just now, I mentioned it, I'd be knocking myself and I got physically ill. Now you know what's wrong? Physically ill. I was at the doctor. I had me go to the doctor. And I had to go. I couldn't move. So I started turning it around. I started writing a hesped about how great I am. As soon as I wrote a hesped how great I am, I recovered. Do you hear why I believe in building up? You want to be healthy? And then, of course, the best part of it is, I don't do it that much. Sometimes I do it. Why? I'm better than everyone else. That's the most important part. I'm better than everyone else. Not dumb, I'm good. You know how many people suffer from their neighbors? I know a major shalom bias. She don't respect. They're afraid their neighbors are higher than they are. Their neighbors are better in learning, better in parnasa. the neighbors can kill you. I did this Kama Pama, where there's no shalom bias. The lady doesn't respect the husband. Why not? He doesn't respect himself. Because he's living in a society where money is everything. In a certain place out of town, where when they discuss somebody, they say, how much is he worth? How much is he worth? That's the way they talk. That's the Sichas Chula. How much is he worth and he worth? And the guys sit up front in the base medish. Whoever has the most money puts on a Hamburg. He's a balabaz. He doesn't have a beard. Puts on a Hamburg. I'm one of those. And guess what? This guy, they wanted shidduchim for their daughters. So they put on a Hamburg and sit up front. And I used to hear the poor guys talk. The guys that didn't have much. Look at those rich guys. You know, they were jealous. And the Sichas Chul at home is money. Oh, he's making it. He's not making it. The whole thing is money. What do you do with such a guy? He has no shalom bayis with his wife because he can't make money the way the other guys. You know what you do to him? You give him on a vardig piece of Torah. You know, Gvirim. I like Gvirim. I get along. I just got a check from somebody. I'm like, I do accept from them. I do accept money. It's fine. I have nothing against. Except, you know, Reb Gershom once said, Rabbi Bursty. Amen. Rabbi say, beware, it's hot. I own Yotza, Chaman, you know. If your wife's cholent isn't hot enough, take some of my vodka. You warm up like a Shabbos. Anyway, Rabbi say, they're living in a society where all they hear and talk about is how much is he making, and he making, and he making, and he making. That's why there's no shalom bayis. You know what Reb Gershom once did? Well, a former Novandiga struck it rich. Reb Gershom heard about it. He took a special trip for an hour and a half. Shalom aleichem. Oh, was macht ihr, Reb Gershom? Reb Gershom comes in, sits down, and he lets the guy have it for an hour and a half. Du schämst dich nicht? You're not embarrassed? You used to be a yeshiva bacha with a black Gemara. Look at what became of yourself. A gevir. You know, to get into the house, you got big two giant doors. You can't, first you write a ring bell Aleph, and then they'll let you through. Now, you got another bell. Slowly but surely, you might have a few secretaries that you have to say, can I have an appointment? One of those guys that needs covered desperately. He never needs covered. So he buys himself doors like, you know, kiss beside kiss. You know, he's afraid it's such a holy place that he got to be kiss beside kiss. You know, you can't get in there. And when you do get in, you melt in the carpets. You sink. And then the chandeliers is staring at, he got the latest this, and he's so proud. And the woman, she's a fancy lady. And the lady says, oh, when she invites guests over, oh, come. And the house is, I don't know if this is true. But I once heard a big Veer who, back in the Heim, had nothing. And he lived in Hungary, there were two tiny little townlets. And he lived in one of them. They were next door to each other. And he made a remark once. He has more Beis HaKiseis in his house than both townlets put together. Yeshem, I heard he had 16 different. You go upstairs, there's another one upstairs. Now that's a big Indian, by the way. The Gemara praises to have a lot of Beis HaKiseis. So he's like, you know, you have money, let's do something important with it. Let's get a lot of Beis. You could go here, and you could go, you go middle of the night, go there. Now let's take a break and go here. Might be a telephone inside the Beis HaKisei also. So you can sit there and you have a whole machta. You can put flowers. I've seen these things. And inside the Beis HaKisei, there's a vase with brand new flowers. You have to be mahadar. You have to be mahadar, minam mahadar. It's not Beis HaKisei. Chazal say big things about it. going some toilet. We get to some toilet. And this guy got more Beis HaKises in his palace than both towns put together. That's what I heard. I don't believe it. But whatever it is, it's a good story. Because, there's a truth plenty. Yeah, so he has, in that house, you don't have to go to the gym. Just take a walk around your own house. You got to work out. No wonder everybody's always, having too much exercise. There's too much going on. Anyway. So my Reb Gershon walked in there and blew. He took apart. I heard there's 2 such stories with Reb Gershon. He took this guy apart. He destroyed him. A gevir. And you need money. You're a meisid. You ever see a meisid go to a gevir? Tell him the yeshiva needs it. Tell him, can I have an appointment? Reb Gershon, he sat down there. He didn't ask the guy for a penny. He wiped the floor with this poor gevir. Look at yourself. And he looks cool, you realize. He doesn't look like the good old days. He's got a special, whatever. He's got the tzura of Besed mention. He's worth a lot of money, you realize. He's worth. In Novanik, they made fun of that. I'm sure Schwartz once told me. In America, they say, how much is he worth? How much is he worth? People is Havel. How much money he makes? Das is the mensch. That's what he's worth. And this guy sit there and he's got this is a little comical. I never saw it, but I heard from the David Emes. This gevir had a giant pool in his house with live, what did he have there? Dolphins inside the pool. And he used to dance with the dolphin on Purim. He used to jump into the pool and before he dances his arm with the dolphin. I heard it from a person who doesn't lie. It's hard to believe. Tanzman and dolphin. You have money. No, buy yourself a dolphin. Tanzing people. You have money. You have to do something with the money. Money is gewaldig, I don't give tzedakah also. Yeah, he's going to make it all over. He's going to put plaques. He's a great person. Azabal tzedakah. Geld, with dolphins, with alligators. Magician wiped the floor with him. Nobody, they hate this stuff. The first time Gershon got some money, he refused to take it in his hand. He dropped it. Someone else had to pick it up. They had to run after him. I don't want to touch that garbage. But Gershon, he became a millionaire. He had $100 million. Became a millionaire. He wouldn't touch the money. He detested it because he knew the fallacy of guilt, how it destroys a person. I once met a gevir Nebuch who lost all his money. He had a beautiful chazal about what happens to a guy. How much are you worth, blah. The one who sits and learns Gemara. You know what might with Baron Leib? This gevir wanted to buy himself a Lexus. And he told Rabban Leib he's afraid of Ein Har. Rabban Leib asked him, do you learn every day? Not really. He says, don't worry about Ein Har. Nobody's bakata you. Go keep your money. That person who sits and learns, he's a mensch. Reb Gershon wiped the floor with this guy. No rachmanis. And then he picked himself up and said, bye-bye. I don't need your money. He didn't ask him for a penny. I saw the way he got money from the Berech Moshe. You know that was? The Sigita from Monroe. He used to go for the Satma's Yotzeit to Monroe. Reb Gershon was a Satma. He liked 2 people, the Satma and Rabban. The tough, Shtaki Yidin ways. They loved him. The Satma loved Reb Gershon, that Shaykh. And he used to give him a lot of money. So he once came there for money. I saw Reb Gershon sitting there. Rav Linsberg, who was his right-hand man, sat here. The Sigita was here. And the Sigita was an Edelist, sweetie pie, not Shaykh, Tzaddik. And Rav Linsberg did all the talking. Reb Gershon sat like this. In front of a gevir. I mean, he had money to see it. There's money. And he sat like this. I saw it with my own eyes. He sat like this. And Reb Lindsay said, "Mi dafen haben Geld, the yeshiva dafen haben," He had his real Litvish Yiddish over there. And the Sigit is listening nice. And Josh is sitting like, He doesn't see him. He doesn't know. He lacht sich up. Oh, you have money? That's so nice. What do you want from me? He was so cold from the whole thing. I want to tell you something. I was sitting with my brother. We both noticed it. You have to see it to believe it. The body language. He had no fear of this person. He had none of this stress. It's a gewir. He has money, so what? Let him hang himself with his money. I need your money. You know what? They asked Rabbi and Cutler, they wanted to do a day school here in Lakewood. So they couldn't even meet the budget. When they had boys and girls. When Rabbi said, I want separate. They said, you can't even make it. He says, I want separate. He said, but where's the money? He says, so Rabbi said, Liya Kesev Liyazo. Rabbi also had them, the same halach. Oh, you have money, so. And Rabbi lifted them with Gustav Stern. I heard the Maisa. Gustav Stern, he's the one from the Stern College who's about to give Lakewood a fortune of money. And those days, the yeshiva, they didn't, the bacham, they needed, basics. They need to, and then he was planning, and then he started talking about Heichel Shleima. Well, I gave money here, I gave money there, and he started telling him. And there was an interpreter in the middle, a yeshiva guy. And as soon as Rabbi heard, goes, Heichel Shleima, Zoktem, nicht gut getan. Nicht gut gesagt. The Bacher was, how am I going to get this over? Because the Bacher was like, he's speaking to a Gvir, you got to behave. He's planning on giving tens of thousands of dollars. It was big stuff. And you don't tell a Gvir, you don't do that. So he started, so the Gvir asked, what did the rabbi say? Well, he looked a little excited. Well, he just meant to say, and he started sugarcoating, and Rabbi noticed the sugarcoating. He didn't like the sugarcoating. No sugarcoating, Babala. He said, Nee, sag nicht das, ey. Don't say it like that. You're missing the whole you're missing the whole chiyasa. Say it right. Sag ihm wie ich sag. Sag ihm stark. Hat nicht gut getan. Du bist gerobbt, gerecht acheden. Ich halte nicht von dem Heichel Shleima. That's what he told him. And he felt like Nebuch, he had to do the job. And he told him, the rabbi feels you did wrong. And afterwards, Rabbi didn't expect a penny from him. Simon Gesund, coach of Rabbi, couldn't care less. That's why we have Lakewood today. Because Rabbi built it with Bטחון. Rabbi built it with Bטחון. That's why. Yehуда Jacobs told me Rabbi was lightly treading on Teva. He was schwach. Teva was not part of his. There's a famous story. He was waiting for the bus without a ticket. Someone walked over to Rashiv, has a ticket? No. So how are you going to get on? Here's some money. Yeah, that's a famous story. They say it happened to Herschel Rosenberg. He was the one who gave him the money. Anyway, Rabbi was, I'm not going to call him a Novandiga, because it's not right. Everyone has to be a Novandiga or else he's up your frack. I don't have to do that, but he certainly, without a suffix, had very strong similarities, especially in it. This is Punkt Novandik. They thrived off these type of things. No ticket. Watch me get on the bus. I did that. When I had to go to the Levaya of Rav Nosson, there was a bus going. I had no ticket. And Chaim Halpern, who was a Novandiga, Reb Gershon Tov, happened to be in America collecting money. We're walking together. And I says, what do? He says, get on the bus. I come to get a ticket. Get on the bus. I get on the bus. I come to the airport. Now, how am I going to go to Israel? To go to Israel. Taking the orange. And so suddenly I see a Chassidish guy standing there. And he said, how are you? Shalom Aleichem. I said, yeah. Would you come out here? Ticket? I'll sell you a ticket. I'm a travel agent. What are you doing in the airport? That Punkt happened to come to the airport. I gave him a credit card. Ticket was. I got on the plane. You know who I am? I'm real. You think I'm one of those nuchschleppers? I got a real story happened to me. What's his name? Somebody ran away from me. The parents kidnapped the kid, whatever, He lived in Germany, I think, whatever. And Reb Gershon told Chaim Halpern, go to the house and bring him back. He's going to go off to Derek at home. He has no Yiddish guy. Bring him back to yeshiva. So Chaim Halpern says, I don't have a passport. Go, passport. Go. Chaim Halpern told it to me. He told me the story. He got on the train. No one asked him for a passport. And he came back and brought him. Reb Gershon said, go. Oh, you need a passport. The best story of passports, is the Antwerpen. What's his name? It's a call from Tversk. He only once told somebody, you don't have a passport? Namaz Midas. Kol Mekadash. Nema Kol Mekadash. Und sozusagen geht. What? Yitzhak. There you go. This is Chusia Galena. No passport. There you go. He was one of the. He used to learn Musa 3 hours a day. Bטחון. Anyway. So anyway, yeah. So this. Yeah. So he says. So he gave him that. So the guy, he passes by the Rebbe Zut. Chassidus are the best. I'm telling you, I have a lot of chassidim. I'm wondering who I have more. I would expect the Litvish Rebbe like me should have more Litvakis. I'm not so sure. Chassidim are on my case 24/7. And what I get out of them, the chassidim, they're well trained. The Rebbe Zut, boom. And I get Nisim and the Flies, because I have a chassidish groups. The Sfardim are great too. Litvaks are also good, don't worry. And I get, so the kid says, but Chassidim said, so he passed by the ticket office, and where's your passport? He shows him Kol Mekadish. He shows him Kol Mekadish. Boom! There you go. I think he came back with, you have a passport? My Kol Mekadish is here. Now, do you believe this story? Which Hasidic guy made that one up? That's what I thought. Deep down, in thought, I'm not that to be mistaken. I'm sitting in Bnei Baruch. That's Herzog. I was learning the back seat. That's where I learned. A guy walks over to me, taps me on the shoulder. Mendel, remember the famous story with Itzakim from Tversk with the Zmiris and the passport that was stamped? Yes. Here is the passport. I saw it. Easy. There it is. Stamp. How do you like that? If you work on Bטחון, you can get that. So if Gershon didn't guilt, fafsachon. He faf the moon. You know what he once did in front of the Gvirim? A very controversial person came up in Paris when the whole Paris had a few yeshivas and a few manalim and Roshi. That's all they had. So when they made a meeting with Balabatim over there, and they made some money, whatever, and who pops up? I'm not saying his name. A world-famous controversial person that Gedolei Yisrael had major aggravation from him. I'm not saying more. I don't want to. And he was sitting there, and everybody, oh hello. Oh, hello, except for Reb Gershon. He don't go for this, oh, hello. Oh, hello. This person had a reputation. Hashem Yirachem. One of the Kulam Ali Pligi. It wasn't Pasha. Reb Gershon gets up there in front of the whole crowd. Rabotai is Hebrew. Rabbi Sa. Ledavainai. I don't know if he knew Hebrew that well. He barely, his Glitziadish. Yaish Luni Vainaini Udum Kazei Rabbi Said Tzirichin Lasses Kriya. Udum Kazei Tzirichin Lasses Kriya. He had a box of scissors that he took from home, a pack full of scissors. And he says, he goes there. It's a true story. I heard it from an eyewitness. Ben Lula was the guy who told me the story. Rabbeinu Ulakach et what do you call it in Mishka? What do you call it? Misparayim. Right in front of him, he stood up, he ripped it, and he says, no, And he had a box. No, let's go. No. And he's yelling at everybody. No. Now listen to this. So they told me that Gershon, that there were Gvirim sitting there. He's a Meisid. Meisters don't play games. You do that, boom, they won't give you a penny. He's a respectable Rav. He had a beard. He was he came across as, what's going on? They mamish didn't chop. They didn't know what hit him. What does this guy want? They didn't understand it. B'chlal. So I says, they were just looking at him like he's out of it. So I asked him, how did Reb Gershon take to it? Rabbeinu, look, Papa. He couldn't care less what their opinion was. He couldn't care less. I don't work with that stuff. Opinion, Mayim Rabrias, Novhardok, I care. He once did this to a Novhardok. I'm not going to say his name. From the big guns. World famous Talmud Chacham Muwa. I don't want to say his name. And he was a little bit too liberal on one of these. He walked, that's what I heard. He walked over to him in a big crowd. He walked over to him and he let him have it. A fellow in Novhardok. Nicht gut getan. He let him have it. It was, no wonder he got along with the Satmar so well. And Reb Aaron. They got along. It's the same thing. Anyway. So in Novhardok, they monitored everything you did to see. Why do you do that? You're always walking back and forth. Why are you nervous? What's on your mind? You're covered. They knew why you're nervous. You know that? Why you're nervous? There's a reason for it. Because of COVID. If you come late, what happens if you come late? Then this guy will look down at me. Everything turns into COVID. You got to work on it. You have to try to come in time, but you can't go around like a basket case because it's the same fear of people that you have when you come home too. When your wife says something you don't like, you cringe. You have to work, kill those. They would take themselves apart. Every move they made throughout the day. And their friends would help them out. You need a p'ula. Next time you walk in a shul, and shuls scare you for some reason. Next time you walk in a shul, you're going to daven for the yomid. I'm scared. You're going to daven for the yomid. But I don't know how to do it. It doesn't matter. Or you're going to go over and say shalom. You have to do your counteract thing you have to work. Okay, now. I had a mifus. Night 15 years ago, somebody from Holland, good, somebody from Holland called me up. A woman did not want to give birth because she had too much pain. And she got 4 rabbanim to agree that she can have an abortion because nefesh not shaykh. And people called me up to tell me, but it wasn't them, it was someone they knew. And whatever, they told me a whole thing, and the husband holds forget that. So I didn't know what to say. I gave a scream. Everything's going to be fine. I got a phone call 4 hours later. Rabbi Mendel, right after you screamed, she was on the way to the abortion clinic. Right after you screamed, she suddenly made a detour. And she changed her mind. And she's going to a new hospital that they're going to give her the medical attention that she needs. How do you like my mifus? Good one, no? Mifus. Then I have another mifus with a guy. I spent time with him, a very big Adam Chashiv. And he is a basket cake. Like I said, he knows Kalatei Kula. And he's a tzaddik Yisei Deilim. He's medactic. His matzahs, his badikas chametz, he could eat off the floor. But in the sugya of bטחון, he didn't go to Novhardok. So he called me up. I still never met him. I wish I could. He's the sweetest. Emesa ben Torah. Emesa Yiras Shamayim, through and through. His wife, the first time, they were going crazy. His wife was going, my husband is about to have a nervous breakdown, and he's quitting his job. He was all kinds of nervous. And he was born like that, and he says, I can't help it. And as soon as I got on the phone, the anova started coming through. And so where the problems live. Well, I'm not really so good, and I'm not really this, I'm not really that. And he was a big Adam Choshev. So I had 3-4 sessions with him. I just got a phone call from him. He said he's a new Bria. First time in Pesach. He's like happy, he's relaxed. Anaya Bria. To get Chayr, you can go for the best matzahs, you can clean the house till Mashiach, but you're going to be a stressed out basket case, and that's not Chayr if you know. It is. Don't listen to me. I'm just saying, don't you want to be relaxed at least? By Zman Chayr. Come inside, Chevra. Do you know that there's at least 600 people standing outside? Come inside. Make room for these guys. Let's move back. Tazoi. Kim Tzaran, Rabbi Sai. Machzachemish. Come inside. Kim Tzaran. Machzachemish. Where am I up to? I got to remind me. Yeah. I changed, people, I changed them. This Hasidic guy calls me up. He says, Rabbi Mendel, I'm a basket case. I have no money. He's Adam Choshev Ma'oid. He's not from around here. Adam Choshev Ma'oid, a major Talmud Chacham. He is a Rosh Yeshiva of the biggest of the big are his chevra. And he fears years. And he said until he heard Anoichi not such a cotton. I don't say a cotton, not so fast. Anoichi not such a cotton. Let's get it straight. Anoichi a godel. Let's get it. As soon as he started listening to me, his whole life turned around. Every Pesach, he doesn't have money for matzahs. Since he started learning B'tachon and going my he spends a long time every day. B'tachon. No. He told me like this: from his shul, from his beis medrash, from home to beis medrash, for years. Listen to the story. He used to cry bitter tears. Hey, Bishta, why don't you get me money? He's a Yer Shemayim. Riesige Ben Torah, a tzaddik, he's gehalten, everything. And he used to cry like a baby on the way for years, and it never worked. Zero. Until he got in touch with Mandel. He never met me. He's not from around here. But he listened to me a few sessions. I heard the shmua in the street is, you listen to Mendel 40 times, you're a changed person. That's what they're saying. So try it. See what happens. I don't know, 40. I don't know how it goes with Sphira. I don't know the Mahalchim. There's different stages. But they're writing Svarim about my greatness, that's for sure. Anyway, so what happened? So this guy cried. You're crying, Eibishter. Where's the Rachmanis? Listen to this. Rachmanis, Eibishter, Rachmanis. And a full house. And his wife is a bad. They cried together. Sometimes there's a family, she's tough and he's soft, or the other way around. They have these mixed marriages all over the place. I know a Yid who's the happiest. He says, I can't worry, it's my nature. When he went through the Holocaust, he said he had the easiest of them. He had a Pella. He had good Nazis, older ones. They faked out. They didn't even have to work. He was there for a year and a half, Hungarian. And they made a fake out, so just in case the higher authorities or Nazis would come by, it made it look like they were working, but they weren't. They used to go up the hill and eat lunch all day and chill out and do zero. And the Nazis wouldn't let them work. These were a different group. And this person was such a lichtige yid. And I says, you don't worry about with your kids, with your parnasa. So he says, Ma vab, ziz moitze mir. My wife, she's moitze me with the worrying. She'll take care of that. She worries for two of us. And she does. There's mixed, There's mixed marriages all over the place. She's worried, he does, I was just on the phone. I spoke to two different worlds. The husband was, and the wife was laughing it off like she didn't have an issue. Because that's good sometimes, you know. This case, both Tishpab, they're both crying like they did him and her. He told me this. Until he heard Mandel. As soon as he heard Mandel, when he goes on the way from home to Beis Medrash, he's singing and dancing and laughing and thanking nonstop. He did it 2 weeks straight. He says he never had so much money since the day he was born. He had a Pesach overflowing with matzahs, with everything. You hear this? What do you say to that? You go with Simcha. Go, don't kvetch. I have my own notes. I just wrote down a few of them where I was, I'm waiting for a car. And I need a car. I had to go to Yehupitz. There's no car coming. And I davened my head off, nothing happened. Until I said, I have bטחון. I keep my mouth shut. And I start laughing. On the spot, a car. My father was sick. I remember once davened my head off. And he wasn't getting better until one day I started smiling and laughing. And suddenly got a phone call from my brother-in-law in L.A. Your father's so much better. It's a different world. Ready to roll? We're going? We start?